I'm a retired Army Sergeant Major. I retired in November of 2017. And about a year prior, I was planning on doing 30 years in the Army. I wasn't planning on getting out anytime soon. And I was getting ready to move again. And we moved 7 times in 9 years. And I brought the list home to my wife and said, "Oh my God, we get to pick." And she said, "Yeah, I'm not moving." And so suddenly my career shifted, it pivoted. And I had a year to get out of the Army and figure out what I wanted to do and find my next career. And so I did everything right that they teach us. I had that tailored, perfect resume that I spent weeks on. I, did all my research on going to job fairs. I thought I had a perfect elevator pitch. And I went to a job fair specifically for veterans and researched all the companies. And I spent 6 hours talking to 41 employers. And I walked out of there having been told 41 times to just check their careers page and apply online if I saw anything I liked. And everybody else around me was getting interviews. Like they had interviews on site, but no one wanted to talk to an Army Sergeant Major. Like there was no roles available for someone that was managing 17,000 people in 45 countries, or like none of that was in there. And I remember pestering one of the recruiters to, how do I follow up? Because I read somewhere that you're supposed to do that. And he said, "Why don't you follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn?" And so the next day when I was going through my list, I did. And I realized there was this tool that enabled me to grow my network beyond where it is now, to reach out and connect people in industries, to find mentors, and to even really that people that could guide me and open doors. And so I didn't want to be a retired sergeant major. I wanted to be known as something more. And so I just started connecting with people on LinkedIn. I started sharing content. I started writing articles, things that I thought people wanted to know about me that was beyond being a sergeant major. And it just started to snowball. It made sense to me, the digital network. And 1 month before my retirement, I started as a director of workforce management for a small federal IT company. I did that for about a year. I outgrew it about 8 months in. And then 1 year and 5 days later, I actually started as an executive, a senior manager at Ernst & Young, EY. So one of the most prestigious consulting firms in the world. And I have a bachelor's of science in liberal arts from Excelsior College. Like that is not the norm for an executive in a big four consulting firm. And I'll tell you, the only reason I got there was because I met partners and they saw talent. Like my resume would have never gotten me there. And I did that for 2 years and 3 months. Same time, I just continued engaging and continued giving back to the military spouse, the veteran community, teaching people how to network, engage. And now I'm a 2-time LinkedIn top voice. I founded Hire Military, which I've been able to do full time now. It's been doing that well. And luckily enough to be contacted by you guys to be on your list at JobScan. The past 5, 10, 15 years, even 1 year, if you really think about it, so much of the job search was focused on, digital, in-person events, job fairs and everything else like that, even for campuses, campus recruiting, campus hiring, campus events for college graduates, and all of that's gone. And so now you have millions and millions of people that are just applying online. And, how do you really stand out? So, obviously one way is to tailor your resume and to use tools like JobScan to make sure that you have the keywords in there. And it's a fantastic tool. But that gets you to the upper quadrant. What I tell people, the best way to really stand out is to build relationships. And so using LinkedIn, you can go out and find people in your desired industry, in your desired country, companies that you have something in common with, connect, engage on their content, share content that will resonate with them, and even send them messages. But you can start to form relationships and build a brand at scale so that when you want to apply for something, you can reach out and get a referral. And if you get a referral, you are 11 times more likely to get a job. They just automatically puts it to the top of the pack. So that's where I think LinkedIn is differentiated from every platform out there is that there's no other platform where you can look for somebody that graduated from your college and works at Amazon, right? Or someone that is a veteran and works at Apple, and actually reach out and say, hey, I know you graduated from this school. I'm an alumni. I'd love to connect. And I think that's the key to really removing the network gap and creating opportunity for ourselves in the job market. I am a big fan of LinkedIn, but I will say 2.5 years ago, LinkedIn had 450 million users. Now we're at 760 million users and steadily climbing. So there's tremendous growth. I have a lot of companies asking for help in attracting talent because no one knows to go to their careers page. And so I'm really starting to see from a job searching standpoint, how do we help companies, their recruiters, hiring managers start to engage more on LinkedIn and other social media platforms so that candidates know why they want to work there and start applying more often to work at their companies. I think that we see our digital native generation Z and millennials are starting to be a little more focused on the why for working at a company, not just getting a job. They're much more globally connected because they're digital. And so they want to know that why for where they're going to apply and make sure they're working at a company that's more than just money, more than just a job. And so that's one of the big trends I see coming in 2021 is companies focusing more on attracting quality talent that way. So this is so important. I think people get caught up on trying to create content, and that is like the ultimate pitfall. I think that if we really want to be effective on social media, we want to be authentic, right? You want it to be you, but your authentic professional self. So I think it's instead of trying to create content, we have to build a routine where we document content. So what I tell people is if you attend an event, even if it's a virtual event, grab a screenshot, tell people to smile. If you are having a conversation with someone and you catch yourself telling a story, take a note afterwards in your that story and what the event was. If someone asks you a question and makes you go, that's a great question, and then you answer it, document that. And if something big happens at work, like document that, make a note so that when you want to post something, you have ready-made content that is authentic to you. So you can write a post much more effectively if it's a story you've already told. If it's an event you've already shared, and because it's aligned with you and your professional self, it'll relate more with people. And when you show up, they'll feel like they know you. The only thing that I will say is for job searchers is there can be a tremendous desire or a feeling to post job search tips because they tend to get a lot of engagement, right? But the problem is if all you do is post job search tips and you're looking for a job yourself, you come across as a perennial job seeker. It's not a good title, right? Why haven't you been employed for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months? So I tell people to make sure that they're mixing in professional content as well, and not to worry about, how many clicks you get, how many likes, comments, everything else like that. What's important is that you're reaching the right audience. So connect with people in your desired audience and the companies where you want to work in your fields. And then every once in a while, share content that relates to that field, even if it's an article you found off LinkedIn, because all you need is one decision maker to see it for it to change the trajectory of your career search. So it depends on your audience. And I have to share this with people often. If you're growing a network and you're posting content that's not getting engaged on by your network, then you either have to change the content or you have to change your network. So you have to make sure that if you really want to get engagement and reach the right people, then you have to make sure that your network and content are aligned. So if you're posting about, being a chef and your network is filled with architects, it may not resonate as much, right? But so you really want to make sure that you are aligned with the people that follow you. And sometimes that takes some diligence in reaching out and maybe joining groups or commenting on other content, searching content on LinkedIn and commenting, engaging, and connecting with those people. And sometimes it takes you maybe starting to refine your content delivery.